What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be covering NBA news for October 5th. And we have a lot of rumors. There's not a bunch of hard news. It's mostly rumors this video, but who knows? I mean, these are big time rumors involving big time names, so who knows? You might as well stick around for the rumors, because I think rumors are a little bit more fun than news, because you anticipate things a lot better than news, and there's a lot to discuss. So after this video, leave your comments down below on what you think of each and every rumor, or just the one that interests you the most. And of course, we have the player of the night, everyone's favorite. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So again, we're going to start off the video with an update to the Jimmy Butler saga. So at the start of the saga for Jimmy, he had a list of preferred destinations. Those three names were the Clippers, the Knicks, and the Nets. Since then, that list has kind of been foggy, with Miami now being his preferred destination, and maybe Houston on that list too, but we know for a fact that Jimmy wants to go to the Knicks, Nets, and or the Clippers. And according to Chris Haynes, who is a really well-known reporter, the Clippers and the Timberwolves have had ongoing discussions about a trade featuring Jimmy Butler. And yeah, really, Jimmy Butler to the Clippers right now wouldn't help them, but imagine if the Clippers get Kawhi Leonard next offseason. Their lineup would probably be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Tobias Harris, and Marcin Gortat. And Lou Williams, Milos Tetovich, Maurice Harrell. I've never learned how to say his name. I think it's Maurice Harrell. I don't know. And Luc Mbah a Moute off the bench. They would probably need to add another big, because Marcin Gortat is not going to get it done. But even with him at center, I mean, it's kind of positionless league, and that roster has enough talent to make a little bit of noise, even though they are in the West. And going back to that big thing, they could add Enes Kanter, Marc Gasol, or DeAndre Jordan, who are all unrestricted free agents next year. Imagine if DeAndre Jordan goes back to the Clippers. That would be a little bit, funny. I don't know if that's the word we're looking for. Or, and this will be crazy, they could go absolute crazy and add DeMarcus Cousins. Now, this would only work if Cousins comes back healthy, and if he does, the Warriors definitely would not be able to pay him, and he would 100% be a free agent if he comes back healthy. And even DeMarcus Cousins at, let's say, 80% is a top 5 center in the NBA. If you add DeMarcus and get rid of Gortat, this team has a chance to come out the West. The duo of Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler would lock down Steph and Durant, and would probably be one of the best defensive duos in the league. Them locking down Steph and Durant would put some scoring pressure on Clay and Draymond. And, who knows? Maybe Durant will go to the Knicks this offseason, and that whole Warriors team falls apart. And I know this, story is revolved around a bunch of what ifs and stuff like that, but a Jimmy trade isn't that far-fetched. Neither is Kawhi going to the Clippers, but DeMarcus going to the Clippers is very unlikely, but I guess it is possible. Alright, so I should stop rambling on, but for the Clippers to do something in the next couple of years, they're going to have to get Jimmy Butler. For our next story, we will be talking about LeBron James. And according to many, LeBron James narrowed his list down to Cleveland, Los Angeles, and Toronto this past offseason. I mean, LeBron James himself called them the dark horse to land him, but says it has always been his dream to become a Laker. Now let's analyze this a little bit more. My question is, if Kawhi was traded to Toronto before LeBron made his decision, then would LeBron be a Raptor? As we all know, LeBron has always kind of wanted to play with Kawhi and vice versa. Now, to answer my question, I don't think LeBron would have changed his mind. I think he had his decision made once the Cavs traded Kyrie, and that's really my opinion after following the Cavs like crazy. As you know, they're my favorite team, and I follow everything they do like crazy. But that team in Toronto would probably come out of the East, and I mean, it would be a much more competitive finals compared to this year. Alright, our next story is just absolutely crazy. It's insane. According to league sources, Kyrie Irving has spoke with Anthony Davis about teaming up in Boston. Now, for this to happen, Anthony Davis would have to take a huge pay cut and decline a Supermax extension from the Pelicans this summer. The Pelicans are the only team that can offer him the Supermax extension, and it, again, would have to be an extension. And Anthony Davis would really have to express interest in getting traded. And this is the part I believe is actually true. If you remember, a few weeks ago, Stephen A. Smith said that Anthony Davis does not want to play for the Pelicans anymore. Now, Stephen A. really is not a reliable source, but Jalen Rose also backed that claim. And Jalen Rose reported that Kawhi Leonard wanted out of San Antonio months before anyone else ever thought of that idea. So Jalen Rose is a more trustworthy source than Stephen A. Now, the icing on the cake is a reporter named Jay King. He is someone who really isn't that well known, but he was one of the first to report that Jimmy wanted out of Minnesota, and it was later discovered that when Woj tweeted that out, one of his sources was Jay King. So, Jay King said that several league sources believe that Anthony Davis will end up in Boston or Los Angeles as a Laker if the Pelicans were to move on from him. Alright, before we all just kind of freak out, let's realize that this is almost identical to the story with Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler teaming up in New York. Now, the only difference between Jimmy Butler and Anthony Davis is, there's some time on this. Jimmy Butler hated it in Minnesota and was not willing to waste one more year of his career in Minnesota. Anthony Davis likes New York and probably wouldn't put a lot of pressure on the front office to trade him right away. And although Danny Ainge has not been willing to trade a ton of his assets for a star, this is something you cannot pass up. Danny Ainge is one of the smartest GMs literally of all time. Even in all sports, he's the smartest, or one of the smartest GMs ever. And he should understand that if you have a top 5 player in the league right now, knocking on your doorstep, entering his prime, you have to trade for him. Ainge would probably need to give up the Kings pick, Terry Rozier, Al Horford, maybe Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart maybe. And even with all that, they would probably have to throw in another first. But if this happens, there will be a dynasty in Boston, and they might be able to sweep the Warriors. The Warriors would have so many matchup problems with this team, and it would destroy the dynasty in Golden State. Now, let's quickly talk about Anthony Davis going to the Lakers. And that's not going to happen. Magic Johnson knows that Los Angeles is one of, if not the most attractive places for free agents. He's not going to trade all his assets for a guy he knows he can get in the offseason. And that's really what happened with Kawhi Leonard. And although it is a risk, he really doesn't care. So, in reality, the only team that would want to trade for Anthony Davis, or would be able to trade for Anthony Davis, is the Boston Celtics. Now, do I think this is going to happen? Yes. I think that it has been a rumor that it's followed Anthony Davis throughout his career. He's always wanted to be a Boston Celtic, and this isn't just a new thing. This has been going on for like 5, maybe even 6 years, that Anthony Davis wants to be a Celtic, and he doesn't really care how good the team around him is. As you can see with the Pelicans, he just wants to be in Boston and play for the Celtics. And now that the Celtics are really good, this will probably make him want to be a Celtic even more. He would probably be the number 1 guy there. Maybe Kyrie, I don't know. He would be number 1 or a really close number 2. So I don't see why he would not want to do this. And he could wait for free agency, but that's 2 years from now. And he would have to decline a lot of money. And I mean, New Orleans would bribe him a ton. So if I were Anthony Davis, I would actually request a trade and request to go to the Boston Celtics. I know a player doesn't really have much control of which team he gets traded to, but Boston's really the only team with that many assets to make this trade happen, and I can see it happening. Maybe not this year. I could see it happening next year on his contract year. So it'll be an interesting story to follow, actually. If this rumor is true that Kyrie has reached out to Anthony Davis himself, that adds more relevancy to this story, because who knows? Who knows how that conversation went as well. But Anthony Davis has always wanted to be a Celtic, and I don't see why he wouldn't want to be a Celtic, especially where they are right now as an up-and-coming team, and probably going to make the finals this year, barring any injury to Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, or any of their key guys. So, again, I think Anthony Davis is going to become a Boston Celtic within the next 2 or 3 years. And now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the video, Player of the Night. And we actually had a few really good performances last night, or yesterday. DeJounte Murray had 16 points and 11 rebounds, and he is a point guard. Murray has looked really good, and really it's a good sign for all Spurs fans. Klay Thompson had 30 points on 6 3-pointers, and yet again, Klay bailed Steph out. Steph didn't even start, he didn't even play last night. Aaron Gordon had 29 points and 8 rebounds, and he's looking at a clear number 1 guy in Orlando. But the player of the night is going to be JJ Redick. He had 28 points and 4 assists. Now, you might be asking, why is he the player of the night? That's not really that good, but just wait. Make sure you're sitting down for this. JJ Redick shot 10 for 10 from the field and 7 for 7 from the 3-point line. I mean, this is the closest thing we've ever seen to a perfect game, a perfect performance, whatever you want to call it in the NBA. And really, just to add insult to injury, he shot perfectly from the free throw line as well. Even though he just shot one, he won 1 for 1. Listen, I know a lot of people are buying into the hype of Markelle Fultz, but I think JJ Redick should start at the shooting guard position this season for the Sixers. He's the perfect guy to pair up with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons could just drive and dish to him, and it wouldn't take much work at all. It would really be teams would have to ask, are we going to let Ben Simmons get an easy basket, or give JJ Redick a wide open 3-pointer, which 90% of the time will go in? I think that's going to be a hard option and a hard choice for many teams. They're going to have to rely on their big in the paint, and Ben Simmons could just dish it to Joel Embiid. As you know, he's one of the best passers in the NBA, one of the best floor generals. So it's JJ Redick being really good is scary for many NBA teams. Back to JJ Redick, he has consistently been an elite shooter since coming into the league. And yes, Redick really isn't the best defender, but all he has to do is be an average perimeter defender. If anyone dares to come to the paint with Joel Embiid, and they're crazy. Plus, moving on from JJ Redick, plus Markelle Fultz is better as a point guard, and you would have to play shooting guard next to Ben Simmons. And Markelle Fultz is mostly a scorer. He's not really a shooter, he's a scorer, and that's kind of what Ben Simmons is. And also, Markelle Fultz would light up the second unit. But if JJ brings this amazing play to the regular season, the Sixers could make another deep playoff run. So that's it for today. Let me know what you guys think about JJ Redick, Anthony Davis. I especially want to know about that one. What do you guys think about Anthony Davis to the Boston Celtics? Is that possible? Am I going a little bit crazy? I don't think I am. Because I denied that Knicks rumor right away. I knew Kyrie and Jimmy, there's no way they're going to pair up to be, teammates on the Knicks. Why would Kyrie leave? It doesn't make much sense. I could see Jimmy going to the Knicks still, but that's besides the point. Can you see Anthony Davis getting traded to the Celtics? Because I really, really can. This, as I said, this isn't a new rumor. This is something that has been, it's been following Anthony Davis for his entire career. So let me know about that one. I especially want to know about that one. So as always, if you guys enjoyed, then leave a like on this video. If you like staying up with every single news story and staying in the loop, then leave a subscribe on my channel, or a subscription to my channel down below. Make sure you tune in at 5 p.m. Eastern Time every single day for the news. And as I said, I don't know if I said this, thank you guys for watching, and see you soon.